Hey Sunshine Fam, how's it going today? It's probably one of the last beautiful days in Minnesota for a while. So why am I not outside enjoying it? Well, I was outside earlier today. It's very, very windy. So this afternoon, I'm going to have a couple special guests with me today. I might include it in this video, I'm not sure. But we will be going outside for a little bit, exploring a little bit, but it's not going to be an Adventures with Chloe. However, I guess I'm a little late in saying this, but for those of you that are new, my name is Chloe, and welcome to my channel. So if you are new and you are not yet, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Like, share, comment, please. Keep asking for comments, and very few people are commenting, but today I'm really going to need your comments because I have somebody new in my life. I'm sure some of you have noticed I have a ring, and nobody's commented about why I all of a sudden have a ring on my left hand. Well, this special somebody did not give this to me. I will be honest with you. When I went to Irish Fair a couple months ago, I was looking for a ring that was kind of blingy. It is very dirty because of my job, but I can never find a decent ring that fits my fingers because my fingers are kind of fat. So I've been purposely trying to like put my finger in, or my hand, whatever, in the shot, and hopefully getting you guys to notice that I've been wearing a ring on my left finger. That's not what you think. I was screwing around with a few of my coworkers for about a week. They all thought I got engaged, and I'm like, have you ever heard me talk about a boyfriend? So I am not seeing anybody. I actually bought this for myself at Irish Fair a couple months ago. But I do want to show you my new special somebody in my life, and I had to pull a couple of strings or whatever, but I am able to have this special someone in my life. And so I'm going to show you who this special somebody is. It's this little guy right here. Let's see, I don't know if it's focusing in on him, but that is my new little hamster. It has been 2 years since I had to say goodbye to Lucky, and I've missed having a pet. So I went out today to PetSmart and I got myself a new little hamster. Unfortunately, they don't carry female pets, and so this guy is a little male. But I don't know really what to call him. I have had hamsters in my past, well before I started doing my videos, but all of those hamsters were female, and I've had many different names for all the other hamsters that I've had, Goldie being one of them, because this one is a golden Syrian hamster. And that's mostly what I had. There was one that I had gotten. This is back when I was married to my second, now ex-husband. And she was a teddy bear hamster. And she actually, I got a story about that. She actually had escaped her enclosure. We had her in this like really tall fish tank. And somehow she escaped without our knowing and got into the walls. I was living in an apartment in Rockford, Illinois, and somehow she got out, and I think we found out that she got into the walls from underneath the sink. There was a hole where the pipe for the sink went into the wall, and we think that's how she got into the walls. We could hear her in the walls at night, so I had to put up a paper asking people not to put out any mouse traps, and if they heard the hamster or heard any noises in their walls to give us a call. Well, lo and behold, after a few days, we kept looking underneath the sink, and we put like a little cage thing, a little plastic container really that we would use to just transport her from one area to another, underneath there, and we saw her head pop up, and then she got scared, and so she fell back down, and we couldn't get her. And so finally we put some food in the enclosure, and she finally came out and went into the enclosure, and thankfully we were there to see it, so we closed the enclosure real quick and got her back into her cage, into the big cage. And then what we did is we put heavy books on top so she couldn't get out again. I have no idea how she had escaped, but we did get her back. And of course, hamsters only last about 2 years, but as you know, I really miss having any pets. And unfortunately, the apartment that I live in is very anti-dog. They won't even allow you to pet sit a dog. And so I wasn't able to have a dog right at the current time. So until I can get into a place with, next year sometime, and get a place where they will allow dogs, I won't be able to have a dog for a while, which, I absolutely love dogs, and I miss having a dog. Now you could say, this place does allow you to have cats, so you're like, well, why didn't you just get a cat? Well, I'm not really a cat person. When I was growing up, I don't remember the cat. I was very, very young, and we had gotten a cat, but the cat didn't last very long. So I grew up with a dog. We got her when I was about 3 years old. Her name was Mitzi, and she ended up with cancer, and we had to put her to sleep. I think she was 16, if I remember right. She was a Sheltie, and then I've had several dogs. Between that dog and my next dog was a few years, several years actually. It was after I married my kid's dad, and we went out looking for puppies, and we found one that was a Pekingese Cocker Spaniel Poodle mix, and he was the cutest little puppy. He was part of a litter, and the puppy came up to my ex-husband's feet and just sat there while all the other puppies were jumping around and very playful, and kind of looked up at my ex-husband, my now ex-husband, like, get me out of here. So we adopted that puppy, and on the way home, instead of barking, he squeaked, so his name was Squeakers. So a couple years later, we ended up getting another puppy from pet store. I know I shouldn't have done that, but back then I didn't know. And she was our very first Lhasa Apso. It was a female, obviously, and we named her Lady because she was just beautiful. She was golden in color with a white belly. So we named her Lady, and we never had the money to get the dogs fixed, and so we moved we had Squeakers, and then Clary was born, and then when Clary was about 18 months old, we moved from a trailer house into a regular house, and that's when we got the next dog. When I got pregnant with my second child, who it was my miscarriage, or maybe it was with Silver Star that I got pregnant, that I was pregnant with, that I got Lady. I don't remember exactly how that went. So we got Lady, put the dogs out in the backyard. It was a fenced yard, and our neighbor came over and said, if your dogs keep doing what they're doing, you're going to have puppies. Well, little did we know, Lady got pregnant, and unfortunately, Squeakers ended up hanging himself in the backyard. That's kind of a sad story I won't go into. So we lost Squeakers before the puppies were born. And so Lady had 5 puppies. So think of the breed of the puppies. Pikakakalasapu. So they all looked like Benji. They were very, very adorable puppies. And we couldn't even sell them for $25. And so we ended up giving all the puppies away because I couldn't afford to take care of Lady and five brand new puppies. So once they were able to get weaned, we ended up giving all the puppies away. And then after a while, I couldn't take care of the kids and a dog, so I ended up having to give Lady to the Humane Society. And we ended up getting another puppy that was a Lhasa, and Silver Star will have to remind me of, which one was which, but we had one puppy named Tuffy, which was Tuffy because it had a white tuft of fur on the back of his neck, and that was a male dog. And then got rid of him, or I think we still had him when we got Bandit, and we named Bandit because he was kind of a darker colored Lhasa, but his eyes had like a black mask almost on it, so that's why we called him Bandit. And then we ended up having to get rid of those dogs because I was taking care of 3 kids at this point, because at that point Sea Dog had been born. So I had 3 kids I was taking care of, 2 dogs, and I couldn't take care of the dogs. So we ended up having to get rid of the dogs. And then I got divorced from my first ex-husband in 97. These are things you don't know about me. And then I got remarried in 2001. I had met my second now ex-husband in 98, a year later, and we got engaged rather quickly, and then got married in 2001 in June. And we kind of had a tumultuous relationship. And so I had, at the time, he was living in Elgin, Illinois, and I moved in with him. And then I moved out. Things were getting really bad between he and I moved up to Rockford, Illinois. So I lived there for 3 years. I ended up with the kids. When I got divorced from the kids' dad, I gave custody to their dad because of my personal life, which I won't go into. And so then when I moved to Rockford, I was working at a Baker Square down there as a hostess and cashier, and somebody had asked where the nearest pet store was, and I didn't know. And so another customer came up and said, oh, it's just right, about a block from here in the same parking lot. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a pet store down there? So I went in there, and that's when I found Rainbow. I had that dog's name picked out even before we bought her. And so she was also a Lhasa Apso. And fast forward a few years, or a year, that's when we got Lucky. And when I was kind of struggling financially. So we had Rainbow for a year. And then I thought, well, maybe if I can get a male Lhasa, registered Lhasa, and breed the puppies and then sell the puppies so that I can pay off some bills. I was only going to breed them the one time. And so that's when we got Lucky. So we were walking around the store getting all of Lucky's supplies, a bowl and a collar and the toys and stuff like that for him, and another cage for him. The gal was trying to help us pick out a name for Lucky, and I wanted something that went along the lines of Rainbow, even though Lhasas come from Tibet near China. I wanted something along the lines of Rainbow to kind of match the name Rainbow. And so the gal was coming up with all these different names. Well, you could always call him Pot of Gold, and for short you could call him Pot. And I went, I don't think so. And she goes, well, how about Goldie? Well, between the dogs that I had with my first now ex-husband and when I got Rainbow, I was living in Rockford at the time, and we got hamsters. And we had all female hamsters, like I said, and most of them were Golden Syrians. And so one of them we had named Goldie, and I figured Goldie was more of a female name, and I didn't want to repeat that name for a dog. And so I said, no, that won't work. And so the gal says, well, what about Luck of the Irish? And you call him Lucky for short. So that was what his name was. So in some of my past videos where I say luck is waiting for me or something, or luck is waiting or whatever, that was a play on his name. And I don't know if I ever really said that his full name was Luck of the Irish, but and as you know, we had to put Lucky down 2 years ago when he was very old and very sick, sicker than I thought he was going to be. So I haven't been with a pet for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years now. And so I thought, I can't have a dog here. I'm not a cat person. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go back to having hamster. So I went to PetSmart this morning and I got myself a little hamster. So he's a boy, but I don't really know what to name him. So if you can give me some ideas of names for a male hamster that I could maybe consider. I'm thinking maybe naming him Spunky, because when I first brought him home and put him in his enclosure, he was kind of, sniffing around and being spunky and stuff. But, hamsters usually sleep during the day, which is what he's doing right now. And then they're up at night. So if you can think of a good male name for a hamster, please leave it in the comments below. I would really love to hear what your ideas are for a name for this little guy. I'll show you what his enclosure looks like. It's got like a cage thing on the top. There's a ramp. Let's see. You can kind of see the ramp there that goes down to the bottom. And I've got his bedding down there. And then he's got a little wheel here that's very silent. And he's got a little food thing here. And he's got his water bottle over here. And then there's this little thing down here. And it's very easy to clean. This is like a little... I don't want to wake him up, but there's this piece here is like a little drawer that you can pull out, and it locks on the other side. So it's easy to clean. But this is my new little guy. Oh, he just woke up. I just woke him up. So this is my new little hamster. You can kind of see him stretching a little bit, like, what's going on? And he's gonna go back to sleep. He made himself a little hole there. So, and I'll add more things later. I didn't get a ball for him, like an exercise ball that I can use for him to run around the apartment or whatever, because the cage itself was pretty pricey. But and he was actually like $22. I couldn't believe how much the hamster was, but still cheaper than a dog. So that's my the new little man in my life. When I had hamsters before, sorry if my face is like kind of big, but I don't have it on the tripod right now. When I've had hamsters before, I learned how to train them so that I could handle them and hold them outside the cage without having gloves on. So I'm hoping that I can be able to do that with this guy too. I know that they bite and they are very sharp teeth, and so what I'll do is I'll get like a heavy pair of winter gloves so that when he tries to bite me, it'll bite the glove and he won't bite through the glove into my hand. So I'll protect myself from him biting me. I'll just have to figure out, really heavy gloves that I can use, that I can handle him, and then he'll get used to me being handled. And then maybe in a future video, I can hold on to him while I'm talking to you. So that's the new little man in my life. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little update on my life. He'll only last about 2 years. Their average age is 2 years. So I won't have him for very long. But if you can leave your comments below what you think I should name him, I will consider that. Okay, I guess my camera just shut off for a second. I don't know where I was at. But if you can leave your comments below about what you think I should name this little guy, let me know, and I will consider it, and I will let you know in a new video. And hopefully I can handle him and have him in a new video later on. And you can kind of see him a little bit better once he's up and awake and stuff like that. So this is a new adventure for me, having a new pet in my life, a new little hamster. And so, anyway, looking forward to hearing what names you might come up with, and I'm going to be trying to do the next presidential highlights video, which will be Jimmy Carter. I've been very bad at doing that. So hopefully this weekend I will have all that stuff written out. There's not much that happened during his lifetime, or during his time in office. And of course, this being an election year for the Congress and the senators and stuff. that's about as political as I get. I don't really talk to you guys about my political affiliation, whether I'm independent, whether I'm Democratic, whether I'm Republican. I try to keep that to myself. Basically, what I do is I would vote for whoever I think would be the best person for the job. So I'm not really affiliated with any political party, so to speak. I always considered myself a Republican, but I have voted Democratic as well, too. So, kind of like John McAvoy from the newsroom. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, and I will try to get that Jimmy Carter video up this weekend, because I have this weekend off. And so, we will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a sunny day, and I'll look forward to seeing your suggestions for this little guy's name. Talk to you later. Bye.